But could we go now to the DVD that we were showing? This is a clip of 3 minutes that came from local NBC station that had been to Cedars probably for a day, and they a very nice editing. It starts with another story, and I just picked it up off of my digital video recorder and transferred it to DVD.
All right, thank you. A promising new way to repair the damage caused by heart attacks. Doctors at Cedars-Sinai are using patient stem cells to make sick hearts healthy again.
I want you to just take some deep breaths for me, please.
If we can do something for our fellow human being, it will be wonderful.
Aldo Altiero is grateful to be alive. He suffered a massive heart attack in July.
My heart was very capricious, so he got a lot of damage.
So Aldo volunteered to try an experimental procedure. 6 weeks ago, doctors ventured directly into Aldo's heart and snatched a few pieces of it.
These small pieces of heart tissue are actually then utilized to grow the cells that we are interested in.
Dr. Raj Makar is head of interventional radiology at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He says the samples taken from Aldo's heart contain cells with near magical properties.
These are stem cells that are predestined to become heart muscle.
Once removed from Aldo, the cardiac stem cells were sent to the lab and encouraged to multiply. Those few cells grew to 40 million. Now, 6 weeks later,
we will infuse the cells. We have our equipment, radiation badges are on, no antibiotics are necessary, timeout is done. We will be essentially injecting these cells through the catheter into the area of the heart muscle that is actually damaged.
They travel from an artery near Aldo's hip into the previously blocked artery that triggered his heart attack. Why go through this? Heart transplant surgeon Lawrence Caesar says damage sustained during a heart attack isn't immediately apparent.
Over the course of weeks, months, or even years, patients after a heart attack may develop heart failure. And it may be so serious that the patient requires heart transplantation.
But if Aldo's stem cells repair his injured heart the way doctors hope, over time they will prevent
enlargement of heart and heart failure.
The stem cell infusion takes about 30 minutes. While experiments in animals were promising, Aldo is among the first humans to try it. So for now,
this is a science project.
It will be at least 6 months before doctors know Aldo's results.
While we are very hopeful, we still have to wait for the results of the clinical trials.
Aldo's goal in the meantime,
love everybody and be loved by everyone.
All right, Aldo, doctors at Cedars currently recruiting patients for the stem cell trial. If you want to get involved, we have it on our website, myfoxla.com. And Dorothy said to me, Steve, pay attention to this.
I worry about your health.
The anchor's name was
no,
Steve.
If he dies, he dies.
Oh, I was like, I think he's healthier than all of us.
Because this is a morning news program where the audience really wants happy talk. They do a lot of laughter, back and forth banter, and gratuitous remarks about the health of the various people on the program instead of what the story was about. Nevertheless, the earlier part that I showed you is very revealing that conventional standard institutional medicine is now paying attention to stem cells, and you don't have to go offshore to China or South Korea or some countries in Latin America to be able to provide these kinds of treatments to your patients. In about 3 or 4 years, I think this will become a revolution in medicine. We had an all-day session at the AMMG conference in Las Vegas last week on Thursday with Dr. Centino co-chairing with myself, in which lots of studies were looked at, including some from Lima, Peru, that were so impressive. Stem cells, autologous, to correct Parkinson's disease and deep vein thromboses that were stunning. It was really remarkable. These cells are so smart. They figure out what to do, and we need to really understand this in the next few years, because I think it's going to be an important intervention in anti-aging medicine as well. Well, thank you. Yes?
I'd just like to comment that we just did a girl at 19 years of age. Her mother is a pediatric neurosurgeon at St. Mary's of Long Beach. Her father is a OBGYN at Long Beach. And she was deaf in one ear completely and 90% deaf in the other ear. And we implanted 800 million cells, and within 3 weeks, she was 50% hearing in one ear and 90% in the other ear. And she was a music student at the University of Arizona. Now, those are the type of profound things that very few people even know are existing in the stem cell area.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Yeah, Robert.
I don't think that's the first. They said among the first in that news report. I've got a book sitting at home in Boston where they were studying, I think BioHeart, who I think is in Florida, has done a number of early stage clinical trials. However, they weren't using what the cardiospheres they describe here. Instead, they were using either bone marrow, I think usually bone marrow stem cells. So they may be different in that respect.
Dr. Hearn at the University of Miami, Jackson Memorial Hospital is doing a similar study. There's another group at Columbia University. Major medical institutions are now doing these studies, and I think they will soon be FDA approved in phase 2 and phase 3 and become part of standard practice. Yes, Greg.
I think this still works. Okay. We learned earlier in the meeting that being obese will take 9 years off your lifespan. And therefore, if any of our doctor friends can help us break out of the dilemma that we all hear about, in which people who are trying to lose weight can do so for a while and then they gain the weight back, right back to where they started from, that would be a form of anti-aging medicine in the sense that you could extend your patient's lives by something like 9 years. Do either one of you gentlemen have good tips for the audience that could help people beyond what most people might already know?
I tell my patients weight control is my least favorite aspect of anti-aging medicine, and yet it's probably the most important. If you look at diabetes alone, all the drugs that we have available, probably the most effective treatment for diabetes is twice daily exercises and weight control. So I try to simplify it. There is no one answer, because if there was, that would be the book that would be selling. So nobody has the answer. Frequent small meals. What I'm finding in some women is, my mantra is increase your protein, decrease your carbs. Everybody's eating too many carbs. And that means starches. It means bread, pasta. What I've found, interestingly, and this may be just sort of I don't know how widespread this is, although I think it is very widespread, is gluten intolerance is really prevalent. And when you tell people to stop carbs, including bread and pasta, in essence what you're telling them to do is also restrict their gluten. And I've had a few patients who've actually lost 50 pounds and kept it off. So it remains to be seen whether this is just a casual observation or not. I do know that in Italy, I think it's mandated by law that virtually every school child is tested for gluten sensitivity, because it's really increasing. So that's a hint. There's no one answer, but the mantra is increase your protein, decrease the carbs, and you got to get some exercise.